Where's the camera? The camera's over there. Welcome, you're in my bedroom. Look, as you may know from the previous video, I screwed up the audio and my amazing editor Francis has sorted it out. Now my life is very, very chaotic. I managed to lose the key to the studio, so I can't get into film. So I'm gonna have to do the intro from here. So I'm gonna intro my mate Dan. So Dan owns Sodo Pizza, a wonderful pizza restaurant. There is 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a lot. Francis, do one of those little bubble things of where they all are in London. He has about 5 of them. The closest one to me is in Walthamstow. It's absolutely brilliant. Now he's gonna take us through how they make their pizza. We're gonna answer all the questions about pizza and bread and sourdough and all that kind of stuff. So tune in, like and subscribe. Sorry for the scrappiness. We'll get there in the end. All right, bye.
So I've got the gosney ripping outside, but we've also got the oven on full blast. So we're going to do an oven version, a gosney version, and then if we can think of another version, we'll do another version. But we're basically just going to answer loads of questions about pizza, or talk to us about pizza. Go from the beginning. Like if you was to make a pizza dough, what would we do? Making a pizza dough, we're going to do our 100% sourdough. So I've got some sourdough starter culture as well, which looks like that. Lovely. Oh, should I show you mine? It's so bad. This is just literally 50% flour, 50% water, and we make out. Oh my god! Yeah, I mean it's fine. I know. Just feed it; it'll be good. You can make your own from the start by basically mixing flour and water and like feeding it twice a day. When I mean feeding, you take half away and then replace it by equal amounts until you get nice bubbles occurring. Which take about 2 weeks. Yeah. Easier, just go to any bakery or one of our restaurants and say, "Can I get a bit of starter culture?" And then once it's reasonably mature, it will just kick off straight away.
Because I think people don't think they can come to you and go say, "Can I have a little bit of you?" Because you've got so much of it.
50 grams, take it home.
Yeah.
And then you can start your own.
Bosh.
And supposedly this is 200 years old from Lapland.
From Lapland.
Whoops. Literally, if I give you like a little teaspoon of that, you can put it in there, flour and water, and then you've got your own and you can take it home and make it again. But
Right.
You've already got your own. I've already tested it. Look at that.
Absolutely disgusting.
Do you want to try it? It actually smells it. It's actually good.
Yeah, I think it's doable. I'll get us a glass. Maybe I've got homebrewed. Maybe we're going to be absolutely off our bananas.
Or like tripping balls and then you just pure methanol.
It's not awful. It's like vinegar.
Yeah, it's like a...
We can be dead after this. But there's one thing I always say on my channel, if people need to taste like base ingredients and understand, like if you were to try a bit of that, yeah, it'll probably just taste not as funky as that, but it's got a hum to it.
Fine, said it. Yeah, so the reason for that is obviously sourdough starter culture is flour and water mixed together and you get a culture. And that culture is bacteria and yeast living together in harmony, eating the sugars in the flour, breaking them down to produce carbon dioxide and acid, and alcohol which evaporates. So the yeast produces the carbon dioxide, which helps the dough rise, and the bacteria produce the various acids, lactic acid, acetic acid, to give it the acidity and the flavour. Those acids also break down starches and the gluten to make it more easily digestible in the stomach. So basically what you're doing is you're pre-digesting your food.
I always remember that's what you were saying, when you grind your own grains and all that kind of stuff, it does help with the absorption. Like if you go and have a Domino's pizza, it sits on you because...
Yeah, you've not. So for 20,000, let's say, maybe not 20,000, probably we'll find out soon. In the
fact check it, we'll fact check
12,000 years of you making bread. Yeah. And for the vast majority of that, so about 150 years ago, it was all sourdough. Yeah. So the idea being that you ferment it overnight as a minimum, and that breaks down the gluten and starches, and that's what the entirety of Western civilization was built upon. And then we discovered that you could use brewer's yeast to raise the dough much quicker, 2 hours. But all you're doing then is you're adding yeast and not the bacterial impact. Yeah. So yes, you're getting the big bloom, but you're not adding the really important part, which is the bacteria, which breaks down the flour and makes it more digestible.
The goodness.
Yes.
Go on then. So what's the recipe?
So this recipe, we're going to put some water in here first, and then we're going to add a little bit of starter.
Warm water, cold water?
Cold water's fine. So we're going to use 250 ml of water in here, and then I'm going to get my hands a little wet and then take about 35 grams of starter. That's about right. So now we've got the flour and water in there. Do you want to do it by hand or with the dough mixer?
Let's do it there.
There we go. Of course.
Do you worry about temperature with your dough when it's mixing?
Not so much when it's mixing. We worry about it in the summer. So in the summer months, flour's warmer, water's warmer, air is warmer. Therefore, you have to adjust your recipe. And in the winter months, everything else is much colder. I mean, our process does take a few hours, maybe 40 minutes of just like mix it, stop, mix it again, stop.
And this is a mix of
this flour.
Yeah.
Oh, this is just organic commercial bread flour.
Just branded in a bag. Two different ones, or you just had?
That's the semolina. This is a good stuff. It's like
gotcha. I thought you were doing a blend. That's what.
No, not today with the blend. So flouring, Nice bowl, isn't it?
It's lovely.
You just let that do its thing.
Yeah, leave that mix there. It'll all come together, hopefully. And then I'm gonna give that a minute or two, and then add the salt, and then we'll give another minute or two and add the oil, and then we'll mix it a little more.
Great. So while we were waiting for this to do its thing, we were talking about yeast.
I mean, this is
Guess, it doesn't matter.
an ideal for scale. Like a teaspoon of dried yeast is about equivalent to a kilo of starter.
Yeah.
Just the amount of yeast, of course. Use dried yeast, you're making your bread in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Whereas yours is starter culture, it's going to take you 24 hours. So it's a much slower process.
So this dough, she's ready to go?
Yeah, for the moment that's fine. On a larger scale, we'd leave that and we'd leave it rest for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Until it goes and just kind of fits to the bottom, and then you mix it again. So you're kind of working it like a muscle.
Yeah.
So you don't want to just like work. You're going to work, rest.
Right.
And you do that a good few times, and you get a much stronger gluten structure. And the dough ball, when you make the dough ball, it will 2 days later, it'll still be a nice little building rather than just.
Oh yes.
It feels quite dry, but it's also very cold. So I would say that's basically the colder it is, the tighter it feels as well.
Yeah.
I'd say that's about right. Anyway, we'll leave that rest.
Yeah.
And once it's shriveled down a bit, I'll show you a little bit of painting and see how far we've got. You can see there, it's quite malleable, it's quite tight. Feels really good actually.
Yeah?
Feels lovely.
Yeah. And we did add just a little dribble of water, didn't we?
A little extra water.
Just a little touch.
So I'd say we probably did about 270 grams of water, 440 grams of flour, 35 grams of starter culture, 12 grams of salt and 12 grams of oil.
What should we do now? Should we make a pizza?
Make a pizza. Yes! Could do with that being quite hot. So, I mean, if you've got one of these at home, they cost about 20 quid on Amazon. This is a proper one.
Let's tweak it off for them, I think.
The trickiest thing in pizza is getting the heat. So if you've got a Gosney oven, it'll have some plenty of heat in there. And the place you're going to lose the heat from first is the base. Okay, so if you cook a few pizzas on there, you'll just find the underside is getting white.
Yeah.
So you need to manage that. So maybe leaving a gap between the cooking pizzas. 400 Celsius is about the max you want a base to be.
Okay.
Anything over that will start to burn. So in 350, that's a good one. It's going to cook the base whilst not burning it to a crisp. We're going to basically put the grill on, heat the pizza stone with the grill. It's basically one of those commercial deck ovens. It's all that is it's got a ceramic stone on the base and some elements on the top, and the elements will heat the base.
Yeah.
The other method is obviously to do it with a frying pan. Get the frying pan nice and warm, nice and hot, and then you put your pizza dough in there. And once you can see it's kind of cooked underneath, then you stick it underneath the grill, which is preheated, and that makes it quite a big pizza, to be fair.
Well, let's do that one, and then we'll go outside and do the proper one.
Yeah.
How many balls you got?
I've got 4 balls, so one up available. Sorry.
Hey, you're a professional.
This one first. Oh, look at all the lovely holes in that. So when you make a pizza dough ball and you put it like that, smaller version, you're gonna have 2 sides. You have the wet side, which is the underneath, and the dry side.
Okay.
Open it however you want, but when you cook, have the dry side on top. Because the dry side's got a slightly impermeable layer because it's been trapping carbon dioxide. This is the dry side.
Yeah.
So that when you cook it, the air expands and then it rises without too much escaping. Whereas you put the wet side up, all the carbon dioxide just escapes, so you don't get the same kind of rise.
Oh, that's genius. Semolina. Look at that.
So that's the wet side, that's the dry side. It's you can see all the gluten structures, everything there, carbon dioxide coming out. As soon as you open it, everything starts to escape. So you want to basically go from dough ball to oven in as quick as is reasonably possible.
What size dough ball in terms of weight?
This is about 230 grams, so we're going to make a 12-inch pizza.
That's what she said.
I've got some tomatoes that we need to open.
What do you do to the tomato sauce that you do at the restaurant?
Fresh basil, salt, pepper, olive oil, bit of garlic.
That's it.
That's
Simple.
it. In here we have
Look at
some
that.
andouille
That's how you pronounce it.
and their pepperonis, mozzarella from single herd organic foods of all cows, honey from the Walthamstow Honey Man, and that is infused with Scotch bonnet chilli, so I hope it's spicy. Oh yeah, it's got a little hum. I didn't bring mascarpone. You didn't mascarpone laying around?
Absolutely not.
No, never mind.
Cream cheese?
Cream cheese. That's perfect. Cream cheese. Same, but different.
Whoa!
There we go. And
That was easy.
open it up.
Why did it open up so easy? Because it's so fermented.
Yes, so it's like. I think this dough was made on Saturday, so
Right.
haven't got any garlic, but hey.
I've got garlic. How much? Half clove, whole clove?
Yeah, just a little bit in there, just a bit of flavour. And a splash of oil. Taste.
Look at that. Real chef.
Tomato sauce on the base.
Beautiful.
Easy peasy. We always layer it veg, cheese, meat. So cheese on second.
Veg cheese meat.
Yeah, it helps with cross-contamination and also means that the veggies don't get burnt to a crisp and the meat can have a nice bit of Maillard reaction on the top.
Love it.
Pepperoni. And get the peel a little bit, make sure there's no wet on it.
Right.
That's it.
Gosh.
just 2 recommendations of pizza: under top rather than over top, and overcooked rather than undercooked. An over top undercooked pizza is disgusting. A slightly overcooked under top pizza is perfectly delicious.
Less is more. Oh, mate! This is like having a restaurant, man, in your actual kitchen.
There we go.
Look how much you...
The base, here we go. The base, you can see, it's probably not as toasty as we want.
That's alright, we'll get that.
But it's fine, it's going to be cooked then.
What would you do to finish that, honey?
Yeah, some of this.
Whoa, sweet Mary. So when we were talking about, we kind of like not skip the step because we were going to get to it back with this. There's the case of like the whole process is make the dough like you've made, but then you would mix, leave. So that every hour you would turn it back on and give it a mix.
Yeah, I don't think there's any real right way. There's definitely wrong ways, and everyone does it differently. It depends on the makeup of what you do. See things over the years where people like really tend to the starter and be very specific with it. It's like if it's robust, it's seriously robust. You've got lots of flexibility. But our method is to work it like a muscle. So you mix, get everything together, let it rest. We do that about 3 or 4 times. Yeah. So it just tightens it up, and then we'll bulk ferment it. So that's all the dough together, and that speeds up the process. Well, I found that bulk fermenting speeds up the time to where it gets to premium, and it stays premium longer.
Okay.
So if you just basically made the dough and the dough balled it, it would take longer to get where you want it to be, and it would stay there for a short period of time. So you're just a shorter window. A minimum 1 hour bulk ferment.
And that's just all of the dough together.
All the dough together. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just letting it do its thing. 3 or 4 hours is great. You dough ball it and then either leave it out of the fridge, depending on the time of year, leave it out of the fridge or put it in the fridge. Leave that ferment as a dough ball for 24 hours minimum.
So that's the point, you have to leave it as individual balls for 24 hours.
Yeah, 24 hours. And then the ball will rest and it will just make it easy to open.
Yeah.
If you cut it and dough ball it and then leave it for 2 hours, you try to open the dough ball, it's just
that's where I was wrong.
Yeah, cooked in the middle nicely.
So here we go. Right, so pizza times. Party is on. Let's do a Friday. Everyone can have a party on a Friday.
So on your Wednesday afternoon, you go to your local, or Wednesday morning, or Tuesday, or whatever.
Let's do
Earlier that weekend, you go and get your starter culture from somebody. Go to a baker. If they say no, then f*** them.
So Wednesday morning, you're buying your starter and you're making the dough.
So you've got your starter, it's fed, you make your dough. That process, blah, blah, yada, yada. You got to here,
blah, blah, blah.
You got to this now and then. Actually, I was going to show you the paning.
Oh, look at that.
It's got some strength from the gluten there.
Right, so we made the dough Wednesday morning. Yeah. And then we've let it rest for...
you leave it to let the rest of the afternoon.
That's this stage, roughly.
Yeah. I mean, in this temperature's in here because it's minus 18 Celsius. You can just leave it out on the counter. But if you've got a warm home, then you might want to put it in the fridge.
Can you show us how to ball it quickly?
Do you want to get a bit of pizza as well? Yeah. I'm starving. This is a 48-hour dough.
Whoa. It actually tastes of something.
It's the dough. It's RUSB.
So you ball it up. This is the bit where I went wrong. When would the balls come out?
I mean, you just put them in the fridge and leave them till Friday. They can just sit there. Put them in the fridge on Wednesday. In the fridge until Friday, and then take them out back an hour before you want to use them, and then make the pizzas. I mean, you could probably do that on a Thursday as well. You definitely want at least a day. So if you did that Thursday morning and did that Wednesday afternoon, that'd be fine for Friday evening.
Yeah.
But then when it cooks, you kind of want to have that.
That pasta is so good.
That's kind of the gluten matrix in there.
It worked, green day.
Did you circle the lines? Whatever.
What?
There we go. That's how we do it in the restaurant as well. Question is, it's only difference of flavour. So the major difference here is we cooked it in the Gosney oven outside. Other brands I'm sure are available.
Oh, look at that!
It looks bang on to me.
It does look good, doesn't it? Oh, instant decent taste of bread.
Thanks for the cheese is just nicely cooked there as well. Got a little bit of browning on it. Can't remember where I read this years ago. Just 3 food groups. Things that make you feel good, things that make you feel bad, and things that make you feel neutral. Work out what they are and get rid of the ones that make you feel bad. So with these pizzas, I eat lots every week and I don't ever feel bad because the dough is so fermented and all the ingredients on are good quality ingredients. You eat it, you're like, okay, I'm good to go. Whereas you might have a 3 o'clock in the morning pizza from your local Domino's and you're like, it's heavy.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel good on it.
Pizza 101 with Dana from Sodo.
See the difference. You can see the difference in how the dough is. That's what you kind of want. It just feels like that's got way more character and taste compared to... The pizza is also designed to be cooked like that, so you can see on here the cheese is boiled and then solidified, whereas this is just melted because it was only in there for 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Whereas that was 4 minutes, so everything's just basically completely broken down. There we go. Pizzas. Well, I guess the bit we didn't go through was opening the dough, but well, we can do that. We can route through that quickly. Yeah, we've got this is the 24-hour dough, so it might be a little easier. So when I'm talking about hours, I'm talking about basically the amount of time it's fermented since we dough balled it and made the dough. Gluten, which is what we're utilising to enable it all to stick together, is made of the two proteins, gliadin and glutenin. Gliadin is the elasticity, so when you open a dough and it just does that, because it's like 3 hours old, that's the gliadin. The glutenin is the plastic which holds it all together. Gliadin is all but gone after about 24 hours.
Right.
It's also, supposedly, the gliadin, which is the thing that causes people's problems with gluten intolerances. So when I open the dough, use semolina, you can use flour, cover it completely, so I feel no wetness. So with this dough, I mean, you start off just by creating the shape. So whatever shape you start with is kind of the shape you're going to end with. So I'm just going to go around the edge, basically form a little bit of a ridge. And then I'm like right-handed, so I'm going to use my right hand to spread and my left hand to anchor. So I'm just anchoring with my left and spreading with my right, just twisting as well. Anytime I feel it gets thicker, I put more pressure. Anytime I feel it gets thinner, I put less pressure. I'm keeping my fingers off the edge, so I leave that nice and untouched, so that the carbon dioxide isn't, or the gluten isn't all squeezed down, so the carbon dioxide stays in there. It can rise when it's in the oven.
So never do a rolling pin.
Don't do it with a rolling pin, no. I mean, you can, but you just get a very flat pizza. I feel it again a little bit wet, so I'm going to put a bit more over it. Now I've got to that stage, so what you want to do is always open it smaller and make it bigger. That sounds a bit obvious. But if you open it too big, you're not going to make it smaller anymore. So I got to this stage, which is about the size I want it to be, maybe a little smaller. I'm going to take off the semolina, get all the semolina away, and then put it onto my deck here. And there you have.
That is nuts. So that's what you do when you put it on the peel. Then you can give it a little tug.
And then and you'll find that if you basically open it to the size it's going to be on the peel, or slightly bigger, when you put it on the peel and you shimmy it on, you just don't get as much volume. Whereas if you open it slightly smaller and the last minute, because every time you open this, the wider it gets, the flatter it gets, the more air is escaping, which means there's less air in there to expand when it goes in the oven.
Gotcha.
So we can try the frying pan method now. Do this. I'll do a quick margarita in the bottom one, and I'll make another one, but slightly smaller, just fit in the frying pan. So, important to have a nice hot frying pan. The idea is we're going to take the frying pan, so don't use one with a handle you can't put in the oven or grill, because we're going to put the frying pan under the grill as soon as the base is done. I'm sticking up a dough ball, chopped into 3, it's about 250 grams each, 260 grams each, and now I'm going to dough ball it. So what I do is I'm going to do a 7-fold essentially and just twist it with the same bit at the bottom the whole time. Does that make sense?
I'm going to join you.
So I'm going to take the dough and I'm going to basically squeeze it and fold it in half.
Squeeze it, fold it.
And then turn it, what's that, 45 degrees? Yeah, that way. So there's the same bit at the bottom, squeeze it,
Fold it.
and then just do that 7 times. It's a light squeeze fold. You feel it getting tighter and tighter and tighter until you're like, okay, cool.
Why 7?
It seems to be the right amount. It's also the amount of times, maximum amount of times you can fold a piece of paper.
I've lost count.
But as long as it's tight, and then make sure you really squeeze that base. You don't want that opening up into a hole. You know, if you don't connect it correctly there when you go to open the pizza dough, you find a bit that opens and it'll just be really skinny in the middle. That's your dough ball.
Is that it?
That's it. So that's perfect. You can feel the tension in it.
That's such a good technique.
Here we go. Look at that. That's the frying pan method.
Get out of there.
Oh, hot pan, hot pan.
So here we go. That's your 2 pizzas done in a different method. That's on the stone, that's in the pan. Thank you very much. You've learned how to make a ball, or make a dough, or turn it into a ball. What's the best cooking method? The timings you need to do if you're going to have a pizza party. And go to Dad and go nick some of his sourdough and then make your own restaurant.
Come and help yourself with sourdough anytime.
And go and visit his restaurant, buy a pizza while you're there.
Yeah, buy the expensive wine and tip your waitress or waiter.
Yeah. Cheers, mate.